Jesus quotes Hosea 6:6 when he tells his disciples, I desire mercy, not sacrifice, from the gospel reading for this third Sunday after Pentecost in Matthew 9 to 13. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. Let's say the word sacrifice here represents our good efforts to help others. Let's say sacrifice reflects our giving money for good causes, offering ourselves in service even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable for us. Let's say sacrifice shows our discipline to pray and worship. By placing mercy and sacrifice in contrast, does Jesus exclude sacrifice from a life of faith? Well, if sacrifice means self sacrifice in the sense of constant self abnegation or denying your needs altogether in the helping relationship, then I would say yes. Doing too much good can sometimes just be a compulsive act that confers little benefit to others you serve and might enable their dysfunction more than anything. Sacrificing can burn you out. God doesn't want that. But is there something redemptive about taking one for the team, and in what situations? I think about emergency room staff and first responders, doctors, paramedics, and nurses who will see all manner of people coming through their ward. They will be performing life saving surgeries, procedures, and therapies in intense, stressful situations. But they'll be doing all this not for their family members, not for friends and people they know, not for those who belong to their social circle. No, most people served by the healthcare system are unknown, completely unknown to their caregivers. Healthcare providers spend their days helping people in desperate need, but people who are complete strangers, some of them undeserving, we might say, still they show mercy. An old black and white movie was made in 1939 about Edith Cavell. Edith Cavell was a nurse during the First World War in the last century. By late 1914, Brussels was occupied by the Germans. The nursing school there became a Red Cross hospital, treating casualties from both sides, as well as continuing to treat civilians. Initially, Edith was asked to help two wounded British soldiers trapped behind German lines. She treated the men in her hospital and then arranged to have them smuggled out of Belgium into the neutral Netherlands. Eventually, Edith became part of a network of people who sheltered Allied soldiers and Belgians eligible for military service, arranging their escape. Over the course of the year, she helped around 200 British, French, and Belgian soldiers, sheltering them in the hospital and arranging for guides to take them to the border. On August 5th, 1915, she was arrested for this activity and placed in solitary confinement. Edith was tried and court-martialed on October 7, 1915, along with 34 other people involved in or connected to the network. She was found guilty and sentenced to death. Nurse Edith was shot by a firing squad on October 12, 1915. Edith Cavell's undying service and sacrifice bled from a heart of love for the stranger and for the purpose of the common good. Her giving did not focus on sin or punishment. She didn't discriminate nor judge others whether they were deserving or not. Her love reflected the heart of God in mercy, first and foremost, in leading with grace. Why does God show mercy? With God, mercy is often related to forgiveness. So, why does God forgive us? We know the act of forgiveness itself doesn't take away the sin and its consequences. We know from experience that forgiveness doesn't nullify or eliminate offensive actions. So, why does God continue to forgive us and others? Because Every time God forgives, God is showing a preference and capacity for sustaining relationships over being right, distant, superior, and separate. God's love for you and for me is about God's absolute ability to keep a relationship going with everyone and everything. For Jesus, it's about maintaining the relationship. Jesus doesn't just tolerate or put up with sinners and keep them at arm's length. He eats with them, and that's what raises the ire of the Pharisees. Not only is Jesus breaking the rules by eating with sinners, but his action also exposed the Pharisees' desire deep within to separate themselves, cut themselves off from people they didn't like. Jesus exposed the Pharisees' false claims to righteousness, which only justified their hate. In the past, I've mentioned to you a children's story entitled Six Dinner Sid, about a cat named Sid. He was the cat that ate 6 dinners a day, not in one place, not just in one home did he enjoy a daily meal, but in 6 different neighborhood homes on Aristotle Street. But there's more to the adventures of Sid the cat. You see, for the longest time he was able to get away with it because the people on Aristotle Street, they didn't know each other. They didn't talk to each other actually. They had no clue with what Sid was up to. Each household believed the cat they fed was theirs and theirs alone. All Sid had to do was work hard remembering which name he would go by in each house, and then the 6 different ways to behave at each. But his luck soon ran out. His scheme worked perfectly until Sid got a nasty cough. The next thing he knew, he was taken to the vet not once, but 6 times by 6 different families. By the 6th time, the vet realized she was meeting the same cat with the same cough, but coming with 6 different people and responding to 6 different names. Sid was found out and expelled from Aristotle Street. Sid's owners said he had no business eating so many dinners. Sid went to another street called Pythagoras Place. And like before, he started going to 6 different homes on this street. But on Pythagoras Place, the neighbors talked to each other all the time. So right from the start, everyone knew about Sid's 6 dinners. By the end of the story, the 6 neighbors that provided the meals for Sid didn't mind feeding him, didn't mind that he was getting 6 meals a day, and didn't mind giving grace upon grace to Sid. They all loved Sid, who was by nature a 6 dinner a day cat. I desire mercy, not sacrifice, means the starting point must always be mercy and love, not judgment and rejection. Start with love. It's the heart of love that also loves the self, sometimes puts down limits and recognizes healthy boundaries. In all the good we do, all our disciplines, all our offerings, the service we give, we must start with love. It's the heart of love that generates the authentic and truly helpful service. It's the heart of love that reaches out to the neighbor and grows relationships defined by grace and mercy for the other.